Karen Christine Handel, née Walker, born April 18, 1962, is an American businesswoman, politician, and a member-elect of the United States House of Representatives for Georgia's 6th Congressional District. In 2017, she became the first Republican woman to be elected to the U.S. Congress from Georgia. Handel previously served as the 26th Secretary of State of Georgia, a member of the Republican Party. Handel worked in business before entering politics. First elected in 2003, she chaired the Fulton County Board of Commissioners until 2006, and then was elected and served as Georgia's Secretary of State from 2007 to 2010. Handel unsuccessfully sought the Republican nomination for U.S. Senate in the 2014 election. Handel ran as a candidate for U.S. House of Representatives, running in the 2017 special election to fill a vacancy in Georgia's 6th Congressional District. In the primary, she received 19.8% of the total vote, the largest number of votes of any of the 11 Republican candidates, qualifying her to advance to the runoff election against Democratic candidate Jon Ossoff on June 20, 2017, who received 48.1% of the total vote. On June 20, 2017, Handel won the special election and defeated Ossoff 51.87 to 48.13. Early life Handel was born Karen Christine Walker in Washington, D.C. and grew up in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. After graduating in May 1980 from Frederick Douglass High School in Upper Marlboro, Handel attended both Prince George's Community College and the University of Maryland, but did not complete any degree. She then went to work for Hallmark Cards. Later, she served as Deputy Chief of Staff to Vice President Dan Quayle's wife, Marilyn, where she worked to promote breast cancer awareness and research. Handel worked at several major companies including global eye care company Ciba Vision and international accounting firm KPMG. She served as President and CEO of the Greater Fulton County Chamber of Commerce. In December 2002, Handel was named Deputy Chief of Staff by Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue, where she served as a policy advisor and supervised constituent services, the governor's mansion, and general administration services. Early political career In November 2003, Handel was elected chairman of the Fulton County Board of Commissioners in a special election to replace Mike Ken, receiving 58% of the popular vote. She had run for commissioner unsuccessfully in November 2002, while serving as the president and CEO of North Fulton County Chamber of Commerce. Handel left her position as chairman of the Fulton County Board of Commissioners early to run for Georgia Secretary of State in 2006. Secretary of State of Georgia In August 2006, Handel won the Republican primary election for Secretary of State of Georgia, defeating State Senator Bill Stevens of Canton. Handel received 56.6% of the vote to Stevens' 42.4%. In the November 2006 general election, Handel defeated Democratic nominee Gail Buckner, receiving 54.1% of the vote to Buckner's 41.8%. Handel was the first elected Republican Secretary of State in Georgia history. Soon after taking office as Georgia Secretary of State, Handel began a project to purge voter rolls. The procedure involved matching data with information in various sources such as the Georgia Department of Driver Services database or the Social Security Administration database. Some eligible voters were told that they were non-citizens although in fact they were citizens. Voter suppression allegations were raised and the rule became the subject of a federal lawsuit by the ACLU of Georgia and MALDEF, which accused Handel's office of engaging in a systematic purging procedure expressly barred by federal law within 90 days of elections. This marked the first time since the 1990s that the Justice Department had denied approval to a change in Georgia election practice. Handel defended her program, asserting that it was appropriate and necessary. A federal judge in Atlanta later dismissed a lawsuit that had accused Handel's successor, Secretary of State Brian Kemp, of illegally bumping Georgia voters off the state's rolls ahead of the 2016 presidential election. In the 21-page ruling, U.S. District Judge Timothy C. Batten Sr. said the state had taken a reasonable and non-discriminatory approach in trying to reach voters who had not cast a ballot within the past 7 years to confirm their addresses. 2010 election In March 2009, she announced her decision to run for Georgia governor. Handel announced in December 2009 that she would resign as Secretary of State in order to focus on her campaign for governor in the 2010 election full-time. On July 20, 2010, in the Republican primary vote, Handel received 34% and former Congressman Nathan Deal received 23%. Since neither candidate received a majority, they faced off in the Republican gubernatorial runoff on August 10, 2010. Handel received the endorsement of former Republican 2008 vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin, as well as former Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney. The primary campaign was particularly heated, and Handel's past association election with the gay rights group Log Cabin Republicans became an issue. Handel denied membership with Log Cabin Republicans. Handel lost the runoff election to Deal by 50.2 to 49.8, with about 2,500 votes separating them out of nearly 580,000 cast. She declined to request a recount and conceded to Deal the next day. Susan G. Komen. In April 2011, Handel was hired as Senior Vice President of Public Policy at breast cancer charity Susan G. Komen for the Cure. Komen. In this position she was responsible for leading the organization's federal and state advocacy efforts, including management of Advocacy Alliance. At the end of January 2012, Komen stated it would cut ties with Planned Parenthood, the largest single provider of abortion services in the U.S. The organization attributed the decision to a newly adopted policy not to fund organizations under investigation by a government agency. Republicans in Congress initiated an investigation into Planned Parenthood's alleged usage of federal funds to finance the organization's abortion services. On February 2, 2012, Jeffrey Goldberg reported in The Atlantic that 3 sources with direct knowledge of the Komen decision-making process told me that the rule was adopted in order to create an excuse to cut off Planned Parenthood. 4 days after the decision to cut ties with Planned Parenthood, Komen reversed the decision and announced that it would amend the policy to make clear that disqualifying investigations must be criminal and conclusive in nature and not political. A few days later, on February 7, 2012, Handel resigned from Komen. The Los Angeles Times described Komen's decision to cut ties with Planned Parenthood as one of the great PR faux pas of the decade, with Komen losing 22% of its funding in the subsequent fiscal year. Komen officials also attributed much of the lost funding to the decision to cut ties with Planned Parenthood. Planned Bullyhood. On September 11, 2012, Handel published a book, Planned Bullyhood, about her tenure as Vice President of Public Policy at Susan G. Komen for the Cure. In the book, Handel defended Komen's short-lived decision to end grants to Planned Parenthood. She refers to Planned Parenthood as a blatantly partisan group of bullies that began a war with Komen over $700,000, an amount of money inconsequential to its $1 billion budget. 2014 election. On May 17, 2013, Handel announced that she would be a candidate for the United States Senate. Incumbent Senator Saxby Chambliss did not seek re-election. Handel was endorsed by former Governor of Alaska Sarah Palin in March 2014. In May 2014, Handel came in third in the Republican Senate primary with 21.96% of the vote. U.S. House of Representatives. Elections. 2017. In February 2017, Handel announced a run for U.S. House of Representatives in the 2017 special election to fill a vacancy in Georgia's 6th congressional district against Democratic candidate Jon Ossoff. Former U.S. Senator Saxby Chambliss endorsed Handel. During the April 18, 2017, primary, Handel was the top Republican vote-getter in the 6th district race. No candidate reached a majority of the vote, leading to a runoff election on June 20, 2017. Handel finished second in the jungle primary and faced Ossoff in the runoff. Ossoff received 48.1% of the vote and Handel received 19.8% of the vote. U.S. President Donald Trump congratulated her on advancing to the runoff and she welcomed his support. According to an article by Elise Viebeck originally published by The Washington Post, during the primary, Handel went out of her way not to mention Trump. According to the Chicago Tribune, during the runoff against Ossoff, she embraced Trump and invoked his name. She said that she would welcome Trump if he wanted to campaign with her. Handel and Trump held a fundraiser in April 2017. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan campaigned for Handel, saying we need someone who is tested and true, and Handel was endorsed by the United States Chamber of Commerce, Susan B. Anthony List, National Right to Life Committee and the National Rifle Association. On June 15, 2017, Handel's home was the target of a suspicious package containing a white powdery substance and a threatening letter. Several of Handel's neighbors received similar suspicious packages in the mail. Handel stated, "It is frustrating that my neighbors have been affected in this way. Steve and I know that running for public office often brings these kinds of challenges, but our neighbors did not sign up for this." The FBI was called in to investigate. The race received significant national attention after being highly touted as an early test of how the first few months of Donald Trump's presidency may have shifted the opinions or voter enthusiasm of suburban voters who live in swing districts. Combined spending by both candidates' campaigns reached over $55 million, which was the most expensive U.S. House election in history. On June 20, 2017, Handel won the special election runoff and defeated Ossoff 51.87 to 48.13. Following reports of the election results, the New York Times characterized the race as demoralizing for Democrats. Political positions. Handel describes herself an unwavering conservative fighter, rather than a go-along to get along Republican. In the campaign for the 2014 Senate seat, she said that she would be a senator in the mold of Ted Cruz, and called on Mitch McConnell to resign from the Republican leadership of the Senate. In 2014, Politico described her as a Palin-style conservative. Handel voiced support for President Trump's May 10, 2017 firing of FBI Director James Comey, stating, "It's been clear for some time that FBI Director Comey has lost the confidence of Republicans, Democrats and broader institutions, and his removal as FBI Director was probably overdue." She has also criticized the president's use of Twitter. Handel favors repealing the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. She has expressed support for Tom Price's legislation to replace Obamacare. She supported the May 2017 version of the American Health Care Act, the GOP's replacement plan for the Affordable Care Act. She said, "I reject the premise of CBO," referring to the Congressional Budget Office estimate that 23 million more Americans would be uninsured if the May 2017 version of AHCA were to become law. In a June 2017 debate, she stated that she opposed a minimum wage, saying, "This is an example of a fundamental difference between a liberal and a conservative. I do not support a livable wage." Handel stated, "The private sector creates good-paying jobs when we have a robust economy with lower taxes and less regulation." Handel opposes abortion and favors eliminating government funding for Planned Parenthood. She opposes embryonic stem cell research. Handel has said that the federal government's role in combating climate change should be limited so that state and local government lead the way. She supports President Trump's decision to withdraw the United States from the Paris Climate Agreement. Asked if she accepted the scientific consensus on climate change, Handel said, "Clearly, there have been changes in the climate but did not say whether human activities contribute to climate change." Handel opposes the bipartisan Senate Gang of Eight bill, which would have provided a pathway to citizenship for the estimated 11 million undocumented immigrants in the United States. She opposes an automatic path to citizenship, saying, "These immigrants have come to our country and blatantly disregarded our laws. We should not reward that. No amnesty, no ability to vote." Handel opposes same-sex marriage and same-sex civil unions. She has voted against legislation that would give domestic partner benefits. She opposes the adoption of children by gay individuals, stating that it is not the best household for a child. Personal life. Handel is Roman Catholic. She is married to Steve Handel. References. External links. Karen Handel for Congress. Karen Handel at ballotpedia.org. Appearances on C-SPAN.